don't know if we're live or not. We are. What's up, y'all? There you go. Yeah, we have plenty of room there, don't we? All right. There we go. I think we're all catching up now. Having a good Wednesday, y'all? Shaka, brah. Shaka. Haney Nar. So pitted. So pitted, as Rolling Death would say. So pitted. I think we're lagging tonight, y'all. Big time. The internet has been slacking at my house lately. Seriously. The internet has been slacking. So anyway, I'm gonna wait and let this catch up. It seems to be doing its thing. Live video pause. Nope. We good? I think we're good. What's up, Nebula Starship? So tonight I got pins from, I've got an M-Dub Pinja Defend Hoth badge. I got the regular Millennium Falcon, literal Millennium Falcon here from La Barbuda shop. I got the Pizza Falcon from Future Champion, the Floral Rebel Alliance from Phantom Flare pins, the Cup of Yoda from Tom Ryan Studios, the USS Millennium from Nebula Starship, and of course the Walking Dead Zombie BB Create mashup, Chewie Dixon, Zombie 8, and Lucille Lightsaber. I just have a couple announcements. First of all, I was expecting packages today. I was expecting my cam pipes today, and they were out for delivery, and they were not delivered. Very wild. They were not delivered, you guys. Not delivered. At all. So I'm very upset that I didn't get my cam pipes today. Everybody else did, so I'm stoked that everybody else did, which is great. What else? Yeah, like, weird. I got one thing, but I did get one thing in the mail today, and I got a nice little thing from Memento Mori Goods in the mail from them. So I just want to say thank you for this sweet little gesture that you sent me. You didn't have to do that. I'm going to see you tomorrow on Saturday. So, but I'll thank you in person there. Of course, you're welcome for the support. Florida is very special to my heart, and I'm sorry that we couldn't get that pin off the ground. And as I told you guys before, I'm happy to help in any way that I can. Look at what we did with the cam pipes. Who knows what we could do with an A1A retry again. I'm totally down, you guys. Let's try to do it. Thank you so much for this. We'll show this on another stream, but they sent me a little Ouija, whatever you call it. Turnstile? I don't know what it's called. So cool. I also want to remind everyone that Download Pins is still doing their Chester Tribute pre-sales right now, all of which the proceeds go to Save, which I think it's Save Voices of EDU, and there's also a black variant edition limited to 13 that's going to be done in auction style, a silent auction style. So we'll see. Video paused again. I want to remind all the makers out there also who I'm collaborating with, and I put this out there as a PSA. you know, as I think of things throughout my day and build like what I want to say, a lot of times I forget. So today I wrote some things down, remember what I wanted to say. For once, this is like the first time I've ever done that. But like when we start planning things, try to think ahead for me, with me, because I'm trying to plan in advance here. I'm trying to set things up so we can have all the stuff that you want to achieved in the best way that I can provide that vessel. You know, so I'm hoping that we can align on things like your vacations and your date nights and, you know, like children and all that, because like I'm down. Like, look, I'm flexible and I can work with you. I just need communication. You just need to make sure you're telling me, you know, the things that that are going to be interfering with the possible stream schedule, because I know that it's difficult to match my 8 o'clock every night. But I still have tried to keep a regular schedule ever since I started doing this. And it's been 8 o'clock usually every time for about a couple months now. So, or maybe at least a month and a half, at least. I know that, a month at least. So, you know, I'm just trying to convey, I put in a lot of time to do these things, and a lot of creative thought to find the best platform and way to devise, to do things like the next Jeopardy, y'all. The next Jeopardy is being currently built, and it is coming very soon. It is coming so soon. I'm talking, it's imminent. I'm gonna drop the day any day now. So just be ready for the next Jeopardy, you guys. The next Jeopardy is coming. So that's what I mean. I just take some time to appreciate the time I put in for you. That's it. Also, I've noticed how I follow everything. I see who unfollows me, I see who follows me, I see who likes my shit, who doesn't like my shit. I have the analytics. I know what's going on. I mean, y'all forget I used to work in multi-platform programming at Fox. Or maybe you didn't know that, but now you know that. So I was at the beginning of this game years ago. 4 years ago. So if I bought your pin and I haven't streamed it, I just behoove you to consider deeply what may have caused me to not want to put your pin on my stream. Because sure, I like your pin, but maybe it's something about your communication or your lack of concern for the comments that you ask for and then you refuse to acknowledge and or take the hint of, and in the interim offer up something that's not a replacement, but more so like a disregard. And I'm just saying that it's not just about your art. It's about the relationships and the presentation that surrounds the process of it, what surrounds you building your brand, your communication, the relationships within the commenting community, whom you ask, who buy your shit. Like, do comments matter or do they not? And if you do believe in one, don't pretend to believe in another, and practice the opposite. You know, like, practice what you preach and live on. If you like, I commend all of you guys who look for the feedback and take the feedback and use the feedback. I applaud you. I love you. Thank you for doing that. But you know who you are, who you don't. Who take it and then don't acknowledge any of it, or then disregard it and then continue to ask for it later again without. It's a cycle of sickness, and I don't like it. So anyway, that's it. I'm ranting, and my ranting is over. What's going on here, y'all? We're having problems. Okay. Okay, yeah, don't throw the bong. Don't throw the bong. It's all good. Anyway, there are 2 events going on this weekend. One is a double day event. The first is the Indie Brew Co's having another pop-up, their own version of, suds and lapels, and that's what I'm gonna call it. But they're having a pen pop-up at the brewery, at Indie Brew, and that is on Saturday in downtown LA at 12 at noon to 5, and then from there you should hop on over to the LA Pen and Patch Roadshow weekend, day 1, which is going to be at Space 1520, right around the corner from my pad, which is great, at the Urban Outfitters area off Cahuenga and Sunset, near Amoeba and the Jack in the Box, right where the farmer's market is, every Sunday that I go to, which is great. Yes, you could make the most gorgeous pen in the world, but if you're a shit person, I won't even look at the pen. Amen. I've unfollowed so many of these makers that think they're just hot shit and that they don't need it. Fine. You know what? I'm done with you. Somebody recently asked me, seriously, the straight up question was, no joke, you guys, what's up with the repost? That's it. What's up with the repost? And I said, get on my good side. And that implies everything about how that wasn't the good side, like the way to get on my good side. You know what I mean? So, anyway. Yeah. There's going to be so many people at this thing on Saturday, though, at the Urban Outfitters Space 1520. Okay? Little Bullies Club, I'm so excited to meet them. So excited to meet you, Little Bullies. Slush Cult, whom I don't know much of. Benji Escobar, which is dope. Dirty Larry's going to be there. Tuesday Basin. World Famous Original. Laser Kid in a shop called Quest, whom the second day on Sunday is going to be at from noon to 5 that day. Nerd Pins, Move in Silence, BB Create, Nostalgia Vault, Midnight Dogs, Meth Syndicate. PB is going to come down from San Francisco. I'm so stoked. Memento Mori, who I can't wait to... We'll talk. And then Kill the Giant. And there's going to be food from LA Donut and vegan... I hope I say this right. Vegana Casera, I think. Paps is going to be there with the brew. And there's going to be live paintings from some people from the 7th Letter. Menso One, I think, and Nicholas Mayfield, I'm pretty sure. And like I said, the second day it's 12 to 5 at the shop called Quest in downtown LA. So if you can make it to either of those locations, support your local pen maker, show up and get a pen or two. Joe's giving out nerd pins for free when you go and just ask him for one. So just go straight up to Joe at the Nerd Pins booth and be like, hey, the Pen Pirate said you said on your Instagram to ask him for a pen for free if I saw him. So I'm doing what the Pen Pirate said and asking you for a pen for free, Joe. Can I have one? And he'll say, Yarg, matey, here, pick one. And you will. And that'll be great. Trading. I wanted to talk about trading tonight. I know, Gorgeous gets a bad rap, and I'll be the first to defend her with my dying breath. I will. Y'all can say what you want to, but I will have her back any day. I trust her opinion, and you should too. She knows what she's talking about just as much as I do, if not more. I get all my goodness from others too. You know, I get a lot of goodness from others too, and she's definitely one of them. So, what's up, the Midnight Society? Welcome in. Let's talk about trading. So, perfect timing for you to show up for this. So, there's a big difference between trading in the real world versus the online world. Okay? There's a level of deception that can occur on the online side. All right? And it's very difficult to know whether or not you want to trust someone, especially if they are not a maker. Now, makers usually tend to only trade with each other or themselves. So it's one of those things where if you're able to trade with a maker, consider yourself very lucky, I feel. I feel like it's difficult to get yourself in with the maker crowd if you aren't already making pens. Unless you are a major collector, which I don't see many major collectors really like in a way that would deem too much trading with too many, but I mean, I feel like it's out there. So anyway, the way it works online is tend to, hey, you want to trade? Sure. What were you thinking about? Oh, I like this. Or I'll just straight up say, hey, love your stuff, really like this, any chance you might be willing to trade for it? I have lots of things, I can show you a lot of options. And then they usually tend to say either one or two things. Hey, sorry, not trading for this pin, but maybe in the future, or something like, hey, sorry, I don't trade, which is fine, great. But if it says trade on their profile, that pisses me off, obviously, which means that they don't trust me, or they couldn't just say, hey, I only trade with makers, sorry. Great answer. It's all about tact and just like knowing how to approach people, man. Like, that's all I can say. Like, and maybe because I've been a bartender, maybe because I've done every job in a restaurant, maybe because I've worked with elderly people and I've been a caretaker, and I've worked in offices with egos and celebrities and baseball players, and I mean, I've been in all kinds of situations with all kinds of personalities and people, and maybe that's just me, but I feel like it doesn't take much to just tolerate anybody. So if you can just tolerate somebody, you know, get through it on the online thing in a way that makes you look good and makes them feel good, and that's it. You know what I mean? But anyway, I had a bad situation in the very beginning. But before I tell you the bad beginning, I want to tell you about a good one. In the very beginning, I traded with a few different makers, which are Do-I Supply, Peachy James, Snot Rocket Cat. I also made a trade with a few individuals who were just regular people at the time, like Kylie Tags, who just made her own first pin then, so I wanted to trade her, because here's my thing with first pin makers. If you're making a pin for the first time, I'm inclined to ask you to trade for your first pin because it's your first pin, because I don't know what I'm getting with your first pin, and if I can offer you a pin that I have been willing to either trade for with a pin that I've bought, because I somehow have acquired all these pins through somehow of grace or purchase, so you got to think that I earned the pins that I have, right? They're valuable in some monetary way, right? So anyway, what I'm presenting to you isn't going to be garbage if I think your pin is great, and you have to have that measure of excellence inside of your offerings to expect that back in what you want. And so as I approached everyone, especially the new makers, I said, hey, especially in a way that offered what is a fair value trade, okay? I'm talking about dope pieces for meh pieces. Like, it's happened, and for example, just recently on the Pins and Pints, I had my bag. It's all about vessel too. How do you bring what you're trading to separate it from what you're not trading? And I have this great, like, it's like a shave bag. It's like a shave kit. But I put my pins on it, okay? And the pins on the outside that are on it are the ones that are for trade, that are my featured showcase pins for trade. Simple enough, right? It's so easy. I'm like, look at my bag. Take a look at my bag and tell me if anything strikes your fancy. It's usually what I always say. In person. This is in person now. You know what I mean? So anyway, and then I also keep a board for picture purposes. So I can take pictures of pins that aren't for trade, that either I have duplicates of, or I don't really need anymore, or I think somebody else might want, whatever I think is going to give me a pin that I might want. Then I have another bag full of really special and really great pins that I deem sellable and that I think are worth more than just your average pin trade. And that is what happened, unfortunately, in some... yeah, The Simpsons did invent the word meh. I do save all my backing cards too, but it's hard for me to go through and get all of them. I try to. If I trade a pin with you in the mail, I'll try to find the backing card for you and put it in there. I do. I try really hard to do that. But if I can't, please forgive me, because there are just so many. I try. But now that I have more organized, you know, we'll see. But I had a really big itch to buy some Mondo pins in the early game, and I bought a bunch of the Avengers sets, the early Marvel Avengers sets, and some of the characters didn't really hit me. Like, I didn't care about War Machine or Hawkeye. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't need their characters. I don't care. So I was willing to trade them. So I made a great trade with Ghastly Cat for the Hawkeye, and I think for something else. And I got back a whole bunch of great stuff, and that was a great trade with a maker whom traded with someone who wasn't a maker, which was a great example for it. But my trade with Peachy James also went great because I only had a couple options for her, and she loved the one of the two that I sent her, and it was great. It worked out great, and ever since then we've been together on this pin ride, and I couldn't be happier knowing that in the very early going of my pin trading days, I had such a great experience with them, who've now cultivated into a year's worth of support together. Same goes with everyone else that I've ever traded with. I was going to ask you guys tonight, if you've traded with me, put your hand up in the chat room. Like, put your little emoji hand up in the chat room. I would love to see everybody who has traded with me and who would trade with me again, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I try to be a great trader, and this is what the Pindex would do also. The Pindex would also list trading and trading value and what would be worth one another, and everything would have a category title, like a alpha, beta, you know what I'm saying? Like alpha, beta, Charlie, you know what I mean? Like it would have a different titling, and in those zones is what you would trade for. And if you're willing to, you know what I'm saying? Like you would trade certain certains for certain others. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess what I'm getting at is it's way different online because this person tricked me. He fooled me into thinking he didn't know how to work PayPal, and I was a fool into thinking that. He wanted to start a pin collection for his son, and his son's favorite character was War Machine. Who the fuck's son's favorite War Machine? Anyway, I fell for it. I didn't know any better, and it was weeks and weeks, and I exchanged, and I was like, hey man, I'm really like concerned about are we doing this still or whatever, but yeah, if you've traded with me, put your hand up. If you traded with me, put your hand up and would trade with me again. Or if you want to trade with me. But the thing is that online you can just be duped. So I sent it off because I was like, all right, you want to just buy it from me? Venmo, whatever, let's do it. Send me a check, I don't care. Never got anything. And so eventually it came to really aggressive DMs back and forth, and he was like fast man living in a van. That guy, he was like that guy, and they're two of the same, and I never really put him on blast because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let it go, but now it makes me want to go back and like put him out there, so I might do that. And anyway, it was bad. So yeah, so at Pins and Pints I had some really dope pins on my bag that I thought there were a lot of Star Wars pins on my bag that I had duplicates of. And I thought that they might get some attention, and a lot of them did. And I felt that the pins I received in return from them only were like, some of them were great. I got some great pins in return for my trades, but some others I was rather unimpressed with because of the condition and quality. But I wanted to trade because I wanted to build that relationship. And sometimes you trade meh pieces for dope pieces because you really want the next dope piece from that maker, and you believe in them, and you support them, and you want them to do well. And I'm sure that a lot of makers out there can attest to this. When people walk up to them in person, here's the difference, in person with their stuff, and they're like, hey, I made my first pin, would you trade me? And you're like, in your mind, I really don't want your pin. No offense, I really don't want your pin. I appreciate it. Here's one of mine, and just give them one anyway. You know what I mean? As a testament anyway. That's maybe if I was a maker or what I would do, because it's worth it in the long run. You build a fan in that way. They already were one, but now you really build one, and they'll strive for that excellence, and they'll try better. This is what I meant by my story. If you saw my story post recently that said everyone's getting a fucking trophy for showing up recently, look, I mean that wholeheartedly. I mean that in all facets of what's going on with this community, both inside and behind it all. Okay, there is a lot of shit going down in the outside of world, and LA is an epicenter of this, and the reason why I have it because I feel it, because I'm in it. We're in it here. So there is some shit that's happening both on both sides of the pin making game and collecting game that is fucking deteriorating the quality and the value, and I'm so fucking tired of it. Everyone's just being let into fucking gates as if they have earned the right to be there now because they suddenly want to be all up in the pin shit, and it's like, guys, no offense, we want you to succeed, but do it the right way. You don't come barging in the front door, all right? You don't come banging in VIP. You're not. You know what I mean? Keep striving for better, because there's better in you. Strive for better, like the amazing people we all look up to that make pins. You know what I mean? That make them with passion and not for other motive. You know what I mean? You're still in the club if you're not making pins. Trust me. You're still in the club if you're not making pins. If you're not putting yourself out there about pins, you're still in the club. Trust me. Okay? Find your way. Find your way. That's all I mean. You know, everybody's got their own style. So stay in your lane and do yours. I mentioned pay for trade. So I approached Stunt Rocket Cat in the early going, and I was like, yo, I love this pin. Can we trade and I'll buy this one? Sure, no problem, he says. That's the way to do it with a non-maker, I think, because I think and he'll test. I've bought pins from him, but I trade with him still also. You ask all these makers if I still buy pins from them. You ask them if I still buy pins from them in person or now. I don't give a shit. They'll tell you I still buy pins from them, and I will continue to buy as many pins as I feel I can from them, and take every single pin they decide to gracefully place upon me as well, because I appreciate and I'm grateful for that, as for their amazing like offering of self. It's just a self-offering, and I really appreciate all of the influx of reciprocity is what I mean. The reciprocity feels amazing, so thank you. Yeah, I buy your rarest stuff, Fred. I do. No, see, that's the thing, Mo, is that I don't... If some of the people we look up to are assholes, this is what I mean. There's a big difference in culture when you talk about, do you appreciate the art or the artist? There's a big schism on Kanye. Big schism on Kanye. You either love Kanye or you hate Kanye. Well, that's not the truth. I love the old Kanye. I love Kanye all the way up until... Basically, I mean, I didn't really love 808s, but the Watch the Throne was okay. So about there. But even there, he was getting dicey. So Glow in the Dark tour was about the last good Kanye I could take. And ever since then, it's been hit and miss. So... And now much miss, very much miss, and I pray for him to find his path again, but I don't think I'm ever going to sip from that Kool-Aid again. So he's lost me, essentially. And that's what happens when I say I follow everybody, and I see who unfollows me, I see all this stuff. And look, you guys, I've gone private a couple times. I'm trying to dispel with some negative stuff that's going on with our shit. And it's trying to manipulate it, and it's trying to fuck with not only my makers on a different end, but... And I'm not talking about an individual, I'm talking about an entity. I'm talking about fucking entities, you guys. My makers are being manipulated by entities, and it makes me so sad. We need to get it back to the independents. We need to get it back to the individuals that care about these other people that aren't necessarily the gigantics. You know what I mean? Everybody deserves to have their shit on display equally in an equal fashion. I just want everybody to be honest. I want more honesty about what you're trading, when you're trading it, why you're trading it. Do you hate this maker? Do you have doubles? Is it flawed? Tell me the truth. If it's flawed, I want to know, and I still might want it. I still probably will want it. I don't give a fuck if it's a pin that you know what I mean? Like, that's what it's like, especially if it's in person. You know what I mean? Clear communication. What do you have? What do you want? I traded with Mo. And Mo had on a pin, I told y'all this, I had Mo had on a version of his pin that he didn't have more of, and he didn't want to trade me this one, and I really wanted that one. And he didn't trade it to me. So I still traded him anyway, because I still wanted him to show him the support, and I was like, okay. And so we did that, and he ended up trading that one away anyway later, so I guess I wasn't worth it, Mo, but no, I'm kidding, bro. But you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where if you offered it, it should still be on the table when we decide to strike the bargain at the end. But it wasn't. It was taken off the table then. Or maybe I didn't hear him correctly when I heard what was available for trade. So clear communication is much better. And accountability. When you trade online, provide tracking. You really afford that shipping. That's worth it. That's based into the trade. Tracking, time basis. If you're going to take your time with it, or if it's going to be quick or whatever, just let the people know. Send the tracking info. Give them a time frame. You know what I mean? I just received a trade recently that took a month and a half, almost 2 months. It was one of my oldest things in my queue that I was waiting for, and I was like, man. And it's one of the good homies that is with the good homies. It's an artist with the good homies and it's like, bro, come on, man. Nothing but love for you, but let's be on top of it, fam. Like 2 months is almost too much, too long to wait. So anyway. That's it. That's all. That's the trading. Do we have any more what do we got for comments here, you guys? Yeah, see, I love this conversation. Don't you guys love getting orders? Yes, I'm sure you love hearing that ding. I know Midnight Society does. They put it on. You know what I mean? Like, I love that feeling. Yeah, Steve's got a fun contest coming up. That's fun. Okay. I'm pretty caught up here. So, I have a lot of ideas to make these things better and to like just facilitate better trade. You know, here's the thing about you guys who want to trade with makers in person who aren't makers, and you guys are just beginning traders or still, you know, building your trading etiquette and relationships and maker relationships. Always assume that the maker doesn't want to trade with you. Just assume that and be willing and able to buy the pin you want. I guarantee you, if you walk up to that booth and say, blah, 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 nice to meet you, I really like this pen, I'm going to buy it from you. Would you be willing to trade me for another one of your pens, too? And at that point, I almost would be 100% sure to say that maker would say, sure, thank you for your purchase. What other pen did you want to trade for? And then they'll say this one, and they'll say, what do you got to trade? And then hopefully you have more than one option. Please have more than one option. Do not just have your first pen. No offense, Mo. Do not just have your first pen to trade. You got to have options when you trade in person. You can't always assume, because 9 times out of 10, we're always going to want to decline your pen unless it's like the sickest, illest, dopest fucking pen I've ever seen, which very rarely happens in that instance. So, there it is. So yeah, I try to give back everything I want in my pen reception. I want to give you guys as many goodies as I can. I mean, y'all tell me how many trading cards and stickers and extra buttons and other bullshit I've sent in my shit that I've traded with people. Flare Frenzy got extra shit. Like, I build a library and an arsenal of stuff that I can distribute. You know what I mean? It's fun for me to give. I love giving. I love being Santa Claus, and I hate motherfucking Christmas. Alright, let's look at some pins, you guys. So it's a weird Star Wars night because I only have one real new Star Wars pin. Okay, and it's this USS Millennium from Nebula Starship. Pretty simple detail, soft enamel, double post. Gotta love the coloring, the blues that are all in it there. Great detail though, even though it's simple, it's fantastic. Very well done in terms of its, you know, look at that. Got the Nebula stamp. Got the A backing card there. Nebula Starship all the way. You know? It's cutesy. That's what I'm calling it. It's cutesy Star Wars. I dig it though. I hope, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna send this to my little cousin who is gonna love this. He's not that little though, he's 16. And he's not my cousin, he's my nephew. But he's my cousin, you know what I'm saying. He's gonna love it. He's a sci-fi nerd. He wants to be a particle physicist. My God, I can't believe it. So anyway. Pretty dope. So let's move into the other Millennium Falcons we got. So this Millennium Falcon is super sick. This is La Barbuda Shop. Single posted. It's that silver reflective nickel metal. It's beautiful. When I saw this design, I was like, it's amazing. Isn't it so cool? Love the cutout on the top there, you know, on the sides. I like that it's got a little wear and tear. I mean, I've had this pin for a little while now. You know? It's one of my favorite Millennium Falcon pins. It's really great. There may be some left, actually, so you should check that out. Then I got this Cheesy Falcon, Pizza Falcon from Future Champion. This is a great one. Had to have this to go along with my Jabba Pizza the Hutt. Pizza Boys would love this one. Shout out, fam. Squad lit. Squad love. Gotta love the crust. Look at the crust in that. You see the crust there? On those pieces? And on the back, the crust in the back there? Isn't that great? I mean, what a well done pizza falcon. Really. This is sick, right? Love it. Moving on. Got this amazing Rebel floral design done by Phantom Flare. They've done a few variants of this. The first I got of which was a light teal, like a Easter kind of design. I don't know what the color scheme was called, but this is more like an R2 variant, I think. But just really great. It pops on my hat, you know. I like it. Hard enamel, double post, Phantom Flare. I think there's a few left of these. They also got a black variant, black rose gold, and a BB variant, a BB-8 variant color. So this is Tom Ryan Studios Yoda in a cup that I've had for a little while too. He had a sale on this a while back and I had to have it. A cup of Yoda in the morning, get you going. Got that Tom Ryan back stamp 2010. This is not from 2010 though, I think, but still. Oh, the teal was another maker. Oh, was it? I apologize, Phantom Flare. I apologize. I apologize. Thank you for correcting me. Defend Hoth by M Pinja. M-Dub Pinja. This is a sick badge. I love putting it on my Star Wars coat because my Star Wars coat's Hothed out. Like my Star Wars coat is meant for Hoth wear. So it's all Hoth stuff, so I need all Hoth stuff on it when I go wear it at Disneyland. Defend Hoth, always. Gotta defend the Ice Planet and the Tauntauns and the Wampas. Just like we gotta defend Endor, yo. You know? So I also pulled out the old, since Walking Dead's coming back, the old BB Walking Dead zombie mashup with Star Wars here. This is Zombie 8. There's about 20 left of these, I think, in the shop. Gotta love the detail in this. Just fantastic color work, line work, all that. It's really well done. You know, look at the eyeball, so to speak. You know, it's great. Then, of course, the Lucio lightsaber. I think there's about only like 4 or 6 of these left, maybe. BB can attest to that if they're in the room. I'm not sure. Haven't been able to pay too much to who is actually in the room, though. Love the detail on the barbed wire here. It's really hard, so I'm going to put it back down again. Look at that detail on the barbed wire there. Screen print, obviously. Hard enamel screen print. Fantastic. Then we'll move down to Chewie Dixon here, who's also hard enamel. Beautiful pin. He's sold out, but I think he's coming back in November, maybe. Per BB. $80 of 100. Boom. Gotta love it. Not a lot of Chewie pins, so I had to have that Chewie pin. So I got the set the whole time. There it is. Your Star Wars pins for Star Wars Wednesday. All these will be up as usual post-stream, as they do what we do. As we do what we do. But yeah, tomorrow I got a whole shitload of pins. 2 of which are gonna be Ugly Graham's new Graboid. We got one version soft and one version hard, and we're gonna go into serious detail about the difference between the two and how both are equally great, but I still love the hard enamel, and I'll show you why. All right? There's that. And then some stuff from Quarter Press Picks, some stuff from Steez, Vector 4, Patty LaPel. Oh, Pop Glory. Yeah, tomorrow's great. We got a great lineup tomorrow. And then Friday we're revealing the big announcement. Oh, and tomorrow I'll be announcing a pin. Wait, let me see. What exactly do I want to say about this? Oh, yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to announce a pin on the live stream that I've been helping develop. And the pre-order is going to be very, very limited and special. And the maker and I, whom I'm making it with, we want to offer it to the live streamers first because we think it's a pin that everybody's going to want. And we want you guys to have the first crack at the earliest pre-sales before anyone else, because there are only a few limited slots. And there's still good limited slots after. It's a tiered pre-sale system. We'll let you know it's a tiered. So even the second tier is still great, and the third tier is still great, but it's still like a tiered. You'll get it when we announce it. Anyway, tomorrow. And then Friday we'll announce another contest, and then Jeopardy's coming soon. So be ready for Jeopardy, you guys. Peace, love, and yarg. Tell a friend to tell a friend it's the captain again. And if you don't know, now you know. We on at 8 again tomorrow. See ya.